It seems like in this conversation you're really interested in the information war aspect, the fake news, it's been called, the way different political parties are using information and the tools of the internet and social media to their best advantage. It seems like you really believe that that is a huge part of the phenomenon of the rise of far right-wing movements, both here and in Europe.
What I see in terms of media, that you may have as a service, you provide the reality that a certain amount of people in this country or in other countries may like to live in. That doesn't mean that this is the real reality. And this is the same for liberal, this is the same for conservative. However, I mean, like, so let's say in Germany, we had newspapers that were right-leaning, like conservatives, and we had left-leaning papers.
Sure.
And you would know about this, and you would also learn and have learned how, let's say, a social democrat views the world and how a liberal views the world. It was part of the discourse and part of the understanding of public utterances, what these are supposed to mean and which framework they happen. So it was always sort of informed that, yeah, okay, he says that because he's a social democrat, or he says that because he's a Christian conservative. And I guess this silo, this living in a silo, where you get just like the commodity news that you want to, this is a rather recent phenomenon. And I guess it's maybe have been triggered in the first place by this like commodity sort of thought that you realize that people and media is under threat, so you also need to inform people in ways or with content that they really click and read, so otherwise you don't get revenues. So maybe that's one side by which this all started, and you had players like Russia or Private News who are really into that by propaganda and by their means to really foster this need or wish for being provided with a reality.
And that brings me to something else, which is who benefits from liberal democracies undermining themselves or being undermined by outside forces such as Russian cyber hacking.
Sure.
Don't authoritarian governments benefit from that? Aren't they the beneficiaries?
Oh, totally. Totally, and it's totally clear why Mr. Erdogan does it, like in the Russian model, and why Mr. Putin did this in the first place. So it's totally unclear what the current administration is up to, because that is so I mean, I don't know if we are seeing a coup or whatever that people may think about, but it's just totally contradicting to what American foreign policy or even American domestic policy was ever about. But you can see this like in Russia or in Turkey, where you have a government that takes over and kills civil society, kills independent media, kills artists, and also like academia. You don't let your scientists travel. You also make choices about through party affiliation about academic careers and stuff. So, and we have all seen this in Germany. So this is something maybe it's a bit odd, but sometimes you just raise the finger and say, well, we have been there, done that, not so good.